This podcast replay is brought to you by East Coast Public Adjusters, and there's only 9 months left to get that IRMA claim in. Reopen it now. Get that free inspection. Don't settle for less. Call East Coast Public Adjusters, 855-GET-ECPA. Tell them Big O sent you, 855-GET-ECPA.
Coming to you live, baby, from Hialeah Park. Yes, every Friday we rock and roll out here till 4 o'clock. We do a 4-hour extravaganza every Friday out here. And, of course, Steve Calabro is always kind enough to join us out here. We were actually having fun last week, Steve, on Friday night for the party with all the former NFL greats and some NBA greats.
Yeah, it was a fabulous night. Larry Little, it's a great foundation. He's a great guy. He had a nice cast of NFL Hall of Famers and NFL players. It was a nice group.
Very impressive.
Group. In the live auction, I got lucky. Did you see me in the live auction?
Yes.
I picked up the Dolphins 72 team.
I did notice that. I said, "Oh, look at Steve. Did you just see what he grabbed, man?"
That frame didn't leave his side the entire night, dude.
Understandable.
He looked at people evil if they just got close to it.
It's hanging in my office right now. It's already hanging in the office.
And it's got an alarm on it. It's got a security guard outside.
If it leaves the room, a sensor goes off.
Seriously, Steve took the security guard from the front at Hialeah Park and he parked him over there at his office just to protect the frame.
Well, I got something else to protect too. You didn't know in the silent auction, I picked up a Don Shula autographed football.
Ooh,
nice. Don Shula autographed football, and it's authenticated. Has the number on there, the whole 9 yards. Really nice ball.
Sweet.
I'm a little bit of a collector, and those are 2 nice pieces.
Those are
really nice
great
pieces.
That's all time.
Those are
all
2
time.
great pieces.
Yeah, it's really, it was close. I had to go deep. It was a back and forth on the silent auction about 7 or 8 times. It was somebody else was looking, but I grabbed it at the last minute.
I would imagine that was going to be one of the more popular pieces. Because when it comes to shoes, in this town, Shoes and Riley are like the gods.
Yeah, that's
sports gods in this.
Totally
in this
understandable.
Town. And of course,
they are.
They've earned that right. Steve, before we get into some fun, we're going to have some picks here. We're going to talk some stuff that I'm sure you guys are going to be interested in, since you might be making some investments this weekend in some of these games. Over the weekend. You guys got some events going on out here, man.
Yeah, man.
First of all, let's talk about the handicapping event you've got going on out here.
This January, it's going to be great. It's a horse racing handicapping event. You basically stop down at Champions. It's a great simulcast facility, and they've got all the details there. You stop by now, and you can get all the details. You can also get the details online. We're posting them online too, so that's going to be a nice event. And there'll be somebody that goes out to the championship, which I believe is in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's nice. We'll be out there ourselves in April for the draft. We'll be out there for a whole week, and we'll be broadcasting the draft. That will be the one Friday we won't be here, actually.
The draft in
Vegas.
In Vegas, really?
So we're broadcasting out there.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So what we'll probably do that week, it'll be a major sponsor of ours during the draft, Hialeah Park.
So
we'll do all that.
So who do you think is going to be the number 1 pick?
For sure, it's going to be Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I guess
Cincinnati will take Joe Burrow. He's an Ohio kid.
Yeah, it's a runaway now. Tomorrow he'll win the Heisman.
Yes.
It's not even like the
everything. Bet the house on it, dude.
But the kid, the
defensive, bet everything.
I know, but the kid from
Chase Young,
he's good.
He's awesome.
Whoever gets him,
awesome.
Which is, I'm hoping the Dolphins can pick up on him. I don't know if we can get down that low to second.
You're supposed to take Chase Young 1. But if you're desperate for a quarterback like Miami and Cincinnati are, you have to take Joe Burrow.
So think about it. If we can get the second pick in the first round,
it'll be fine.
We can either get Burrow or Chase Young.
No, you won't get Burrow at 2. You're only going to get Chase Young.
No, but what if Cincinnati says they might
No,
flip-flop?
he's an Ohio kid.
All right,
no, they're not going to.
I'll give you that.
They're not going to pass him up.
You mean they're going to give up on Andy Dalton?
Yes.
Poor Andy.
Yes.
He's not a bad quarterback.
No, but he's not the answer.
No, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out with Andy.
I know, he's just not the answer.
But Dalton will end up someplace else. He'll be,
that's fine. And if you put him on like this incredibly loaded team where he just has to facilitate a little bit, then you'll be fine, and maybe you can win something. But it has to be like loaded.
Yeah.
Like his Bears. Give up on Trubisky, and okay, you know what? We'll get Andy Dalton. He won't get us in trouble. He'll facilitate. The Bears have all kinds of weapons. We can get by with him because our great defense, our running game, we can compete against anybody. And you actually, if you think that way, and if you look at it that way, it makes a lot of sense that if Andy Dalton goes to Chicago, maybe in the championship game you'll have trouble because he's got to answer a great quarterback, but you can go pretty far with him.
Yeah.
As long as your team is great around him.
Yeah, they've got to have all kinds of weapons around him, which I don't know if Chicago has all types of weapons.
They got
a lot of talent. They got a lot of talent, but I don't know.
That Anthony Miller kid can play. The what's the name of the little receiver you guys got opposite of Anthony Miller? That's Taylor Gabriel, right?
Gabriel?
Gabriel.
Yeah, and
they got a bunch of tight ends.
Robinson, Miller, Gabriel. Trey Burton's been gone all year, but the Shaheen guy has played well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have weapons.
Yeah. No.
Weapons are not a problem.
They just don't have the quarterback. That's why the weapons don't look that good.
I'm going to switch it a little, but you're talking about weapons. I mean, last night, did you see the game? I mean,
dude is a weapon.
But I get a little. Ravens have really been interesting to me. So I go to the first game of the season. It's the Dolphins and the Ravens, and I don't know how bad the Dolphins are or how good the Ravens are. I don't know if the Ravens knew how good they were.
Right.
They weren't sure either. They hadn't really played a game yet, and I left that game, and I remember telling the people I was with, the Ravens are an exceptional football team. And it seems like they've gotten better throughout the season. And I had a couple of facts that I came across. Lamar Jackson look, he's thrown 5 touchdowns. He throws 5 touchdowns last night. He's thrown 5 touchdowns 3 times.
Yep.
He's having a pretty, great year passing. He's got about 2,900 yards. He looks like he's going to end up with about 30-something in the high, over 3,500 yards. But here's the stat that cracks me up. Everybody knows he breaks Michael Vick's record last night. But for the season, he's the leading rusher for the Ravens, and Mark Ingram is going to be a 1,000-yard rusher on that team. Mark Ingram's a great running back.
Yeah.
He's got about 960 right now, so he'll end up with about 1,200 yards.
Andy Behrens told us in fantasy, he said that he's the, I think, 15th or 16th running back in the NFL by yards.
Yes, by yards. Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. Like, on his own, it's pretty amazing. I think in the NFL, what I heard was that in the NFL right now, Ingram and Jackson are in the top 10 in rushing to date right now.
Yeah.
They have 2. So talk about a rushing game. Now, that rushing game, so I dug into the NFL records. I had to go a little deep on this one. I got to find my records here. But you got to go back to pretty far. You got to go back pretty far. And you go back to 1978. I don't even know who the hell was on the team. New England was the leading rushing team in the NFL. 31-65. Get this. If you go back to 73, O.J. Simpson and the Buffalo Bills, 3,088.
That was the year he got 2,000 probably.
Right now, the Ravens have 2,889. They're going to be the leading rushing team in the NFL history. I mean, they got 3 games left. If they can't get one of those guys can get 300 yards,
right.
Either Ingram or Jackson. So it's an interesting team. Like, you think the people are talking real high about Jackson. He can throw, but the tandem rushing attack of Jackson and Ingram, I think, is one of the biggest weapons they've got.
Oh, of course.
That combo's unbelievable.
Well, it's not only that it's unbelievable, they can't solve it.
Yeah, nobody can defend it.
And that's the thing that the NFL now has to adjust. And this entire offseason, you're going to see, especially the Steelers, because they have to deal with them twice a year in their division. So they're going to draft and scheme to try to stop that. And then that will be the challenge next year for the Ravens to kind of answer to that. Will they be able to do it? Or you know what I think? Belichick didn't really play what he wanted to play, and I think we'll see that in the playoffs, that if they do run into each other, that will be the guy that everybody will look, okay, let's see what Bill does against him now, because he already played him once.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't show his cards the first go-around, so they wouldn't be prepared for it the second go-around. I believe that there's some of that, too, that we'll see now in that one. That's the only one. If not, it'll be an off-season, and then people will try to figure it out how to stop it. But the dynamics of that offense right now, we've never seen anything like this, because this is why until I'm going to need to see another year of this. This is why I still don't believe in this offense.
I believe.
You believe it works, but I don't believe a quarterback can stay healthy in this offense.
I think he can stay healthy 5 or 6 years. I don't think he can stay healthy 10 or 12 years. The long-term franchise quarterback of 10
I doubt
years.
you run that fast for 10 or 12 years anyway.
It's just not going to happen. Well, you're going to lose speed. Plus, you're going to get hurt. I mean, that's unfortunately.
That's why I think.
Even Vic.
That's what I'm afraid of in the next week or two or next year. I think he's going to get hurt at any time.
So I'll give you some funny factoids, right? This is how special this kind of offense is. So Vic, when Vic made broke the record for rushing, he beat Bobby Douglas's record.
Right.
Bobby Douglas from your Bears, right?
Right.
I mean, come on, Bobby
70,
Douglas
69, something like that, I think it was.
Yeah, and Bobby Douglas.
Was it that long ago? Was it in 69?
Was it 69,
I don't know
77?
what year,
It was late
under
60s, early 70s.
He was under 1,000, right? He had under 1,000. And for his career, he was just over 2,000. So that was even an oddball for Bobby.
That was the 1 year, yeah.
Then Vic breaks the record. He gets 1,000. He's like 1,030 or something, 1,039. And now Jackson has 1,100. And Jackson's going to end up with, 13 or 1,400.
Yes.
So I think
he's a better passer.
And he's a fabulous passer.
He's actually gotten better this year, and something I didn't think would happen either, because mostly when you're not accurate, you never really become accurate in the NFL. But he has become pretty damn accurate overall. Now, there's a little caveat to that. It has to do a lot with the running, and a lot of things have opened up for him. I still would like to see if he develops as a consistent pocket passer, because I think that's how he really is going to have a long career, is learning how to beat you on a consistent basis from the pocket.
See, I'm on a different page, and I think Harbaugh's on this page. We're figuring out how to win today,
right,
this year, and if we can hang for 5 or 6 years, we're happier than anything.
Right.
We're not doing the 10-year deal.
Right.
We're not doing this 8-year deal.
Whatever it lasts, it lasts.
Yeah, if it lasts 4 years, okay. Well, you look at their backup is Robert Griffin,
right?
So he could probably run that same offense, not as well as Jackson.
Not nearly as well. He doesn't have the speed.
Jackson, but it's just, I think Harbaugh is a little bit ahead of the curve in the NFL with making this work. This running, passing quarterback. He's a running and a passing quarterback. And look, those are special guys to find. That's not the easiest guys to find.
Like I said today, if they win the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter whether it keeps working or it doesn't. After, because it's been successful. You drafted him, you won the Super Bowl. It's over already.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it. It doesn't matter anymore after this. After this, everything else is icing on the cake. Now, I was telling Bill that one of the most incredible stats in the history of the game is also developing.
What's that?
17-0 is pretty impressive, right? I think the most impressive achievement ever in the history of the game is Joe Gibbs winning 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. Ozzie Newsome would become the first general manager to win Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks.
Joe Flacco.
Trent Dilfer.
And Lamar.
And he drafted Lamar. He's no longer working for them now, but last year was his last draft for the franchise, and his last first-round pick in his history was Lamar Jackson.
Well,
he drafted Flacco, and not that he drafted Trent Dilfer, but he built 3 different Super Bowl winners with 3 different quarterbacks, which would be a great accomplishment, one for the Ravens, because that's the other thing we talked about, that it was 2012 and 2000. So 2000, 2012, and now 2020. You're talking about, or 19 is what this is considered, because it's the 19 season. In a 20-year span, you won in 3 different times during that 20-year generation with 3 different quarterbacks.
So
that's an amazing,
Big O,
an absolutely phenomenal feat.
So that's a perfect segue to, I'm holding here the parlay sheet. Well, it's not the parlay sheet, it's the future sheet.
Okay.
And right, we can, if you want, we could make a wager. Because I was going to say, let's make a wager for the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I think it's. Let's see where they're at here. I got to find where the hell they're at there. But unfortunately, the odds are pretty. I'm sorry.
Oh, they got to be really bad.
You got to bet 150 to win 100.
Yeah. I would imagine them in San Francisco right now are the top odds right now. Correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I want to see what
after beating New Orleans last week.
But look, let's get a little more simpler. This is a thing I wanted to start and maybe follow up with next week. So I have the parlay sheet in front of me.
Yes.
We have 3 gentlemen here that I don't know, self-proclaimed, know something about picking an NFL game.
I know nothing.
If you pick one, I pick one.
Vegas, I know the Vegas are badass.
I'm the Sergeant Schultz of picking games. All right, so let's go.
All right, so
I know nothing.
So we'll go down a list and pick a game that you want to jump on, because I have a game I want to jump on. It's a little bit of a homer game. Kind of doing it. I'm doing my. Well, we'll get to it. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. It has some family attachment to it.
Okay.
So go ahead. Well, obviously the Buccaneers and the Lions, right?
Right.
Come on. I mean, does anybody really care?
No, I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole, man.
All right, so
I can't trust Jameis Winston one way or another, and the Lions don't have Matt Stafford, so there's a
and they're home. I like to bet the home team, but so the next game is my homer game, and it's if I had to pick a game, I'm doing this not necessarily for any other reason than my son's a Philadelphia guy. I love my son dearly.
But they're so inconsistent.
And so I know they're inconsistent, but Washington is not good.
No,
Washington is not good.
But they actually have a decent defense.
I know, but the Eagles need this. The Eagles need this.
But we say that every week about the Eagles.
No, but if the Eagle players go to Washington and lose, they're not going to be allowed back into the city of Philadelphia, and they know that. But with fans like my dear son who loves the Eagles, I'm on the Eagles. I'm on the Eagles here. Okay. And they're giving up 4.5 points. I get it. But I think Carson Wentz is going to put together a decent game, even though he has like 1.5 receivers left. So if I had to pick it, it's a little bit of a homer game, has a little emotional around it. I'm really, I can't root for the Giants because they don't matter anymore. The Dolphins are tough. They're away, and actually the Giants are playing the Dolphins, which is even weirder. So I'm going with the Eagles in this, and as preferably my pick for now. What do you think?
All right. I would never touch that game. I would never touch the Eagles because the Eagles are not reliable at this point in time. They should win by the 4.5. I agree with you there. And by the way, in this parlay thing, how the hell do you know which is the home team and which is not? Is it the Star?
The asterisk. Yeah,
the Star?
It's the Star, yeah.
Okay, so the Redskins are home, actually, in this game. Yeah, no, I don't like this game either.
The Eagle fans can drive an hour and a half to there'll be 25,000 fans at the Redskins Stadium.
Yeah, I get it, but yeah.
You know what? Divisional game.
Yeah, I'm not
Divisional games are traps.
I'm all about the Eagles in this one.
2.5 or less, I would go Eagles.
Oh, so there's a price. So O has a price.
3 or more.
Big O has a price.
Yeah, 3 because I think the Eagles can win by a field goal. The fact that it's 4.5, I stay away from it completely.
Excellent point.
All right, what about the next one?
Packers and Bears, I'm not touching because
Packers
the Bears,
at home.
I know, but the Bears got a great defense.
Look, I know.
Favre owns the Bears. Okay, he can beat them all the time. I mean, Favre. Rodgers owns the Bears. He beats them all the time.
21-3.
Yeah,
22-3.
Yeah, but Trubisky's actually played decent the last 2 weeks. Maybe they've figured out on how to keep him somewhat,
Billy, you're not going with your home team?
See, that's one thing I learned with the Dolphins. Don't bet the game. The last time I bet was the Super Bowl. I laid 28. I gave 28 points for Patriots, and of course I cleaned up. Which
is a nice segue. What do you think? Next game.
Love the Patriots. I'll take this.
Love the Patriots to cover 9.5.
I'm
cover
the
9.5
because they're hearing all the rumblings. The Bengals suck. And I think even though the Bengals are home, but I think the Patriots can beat them by 10 points. I think they'll beat them by 2 touchdowns when it's all said and done. I don't think that they'll rout them by 20 or 30 because the Patriots offense isn't that good. But I can see them scoring a touchdown and a field goal in a win here. So I'm going to go with Patriots laying 9.5 in this one.
That's a big one. That's a big one for you. Yes. All right, so right now we're going to keep going on, but my pick is the Eagles. Big O's pick is the Patriots.
You don't like any of the first 4, right?
Doesn't like anything.
I think the Bears will win, but if
He
it's
doesn't like
2.5,
it. Doesn't like it.
it's same. Yeah, it's the same
points.
same
All right.
situation as you with Philly. If it's
So
2.5,
Titans are 2.5 over the Texans, and the game is in Tennessee. And there is no way I would trust Ryan Tannehill. I know he's played lights out. Texans have a decent defense. They could give him trouble. Deshaun Watson is a clutch player. Ryan Tannehill is not. I cannot touch this game, gentlemen. But
yeah, and the
you
Texans,
guys are welcome to it.
Who knows which Texans show up?
Right.
You know what I mean? The Texans, they can go either way. But so now we have Seahawks and the Panthers. Now this is
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're like Titans or because you haven't picked the game yet.
I'm
no?
not going to go with Tannehill. And
Okay.
Houston, man, they're good and then they're bad.
All right.
Yeah, they're everything. They go.
Seahawks favored by 6.5 at the Panthers.
It's a long travel. It's cross country.
Yeah.
You know, Panthers are not disruptive, but disheveled team right now. They got a half a coach. The old coach is gone. Some players might be giving up. Seahawks. Look, if you don't have Lamar Jackson, you got the MVP on the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, but you don't like it, Billy. You like not enough.
You know what it
if
is?
It was in
it's the point
if it was
spread.
in Seattle, yeah, but
It's the-
6.5, man.
It's point spread.
Panthers
Yeah.
Panthers can be gritty at times, and they're at home. I got to stay away from this game.
They got that.
All right.
They got that guy McCaffrey that could score from anywhere on the field, and
Except the 1 yard line two times
Well,
this year,
yeah.
but that's another story.
Well, he's not a fullback. He's not Larry Zonka, but
Yeah,
no,
he doesn't have power. He's not a big
six and a
guy.
half points. That's a lot on them.
All right, what about this? Is an interesting game. I don't. This might be a trick game. You got the Chiefs at home against the Broncos. 10.5 points they're giving up. That's a lot of points. I mean,
That's a
home
lot
score.
of points, and Drew Lock played well last week.
You don't know if Drew Lock's the real
debut.
deal or not. But there's some film on Drew Lock now, too. Maybe Andy Reid can figure it out.
Broncos have been in a bunch of close games. I think 10.5 points with the Broncos. That's the way
enough to circle it out of this list?
If I was going to do
Problem
it,
is, it's in Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City, Arrowhead.
Problem, dude.
mean, people
yeah, but
go with
Kansas
that.
City has
the-
lost 2 or 3 games at home this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's not, the aura is a little tarnished.
Yeah, but it's the,
All right, well,
it's the Broncos. It's a young
It's a possibility.
QB.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that one too.
All right, here's the one. This is an interesting game, the next game. The Giants and the Dolphins. It's in New York. The Dolphins, this might be the first time all year, are favored by 3.5 points.
No, they're getting 3.5. Giants are favored by 3.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read it backwards. I read it upside down. Okay,
I'm taking Dolphins
so
in this one.
You like the Dolphins?
Yes, I think they can win this game.
I would bet this. This is the one
All right, so
game
Bill,
right
you want
now
this game?
I would bet this.
Oh,
game.
man, we got some
Yes.
homer picks here. We got.
I'm going to take the points.
I think they're going to
Taking
win.
the points.
I
You
think
want to
they're gonna-
circle it? This is one of our
I
choices.
circled it. I
All
circled
right,
it
all right,
already.
all
That's
right,
one of
all
my. That's one of my
I
picks.
think they're going to win straight up.
Dolphins plus 3.5. They're getting 3.5.
Yeah, even if they lose, it'll be a close loss, and it'll be within the 3.5 points. So I'm going Dolphins in this one. I like the Dolphins.
How about the Steelers and the Bills? 1.5
Steelers are
points.
favored by 1.5. The problem is they have Duck quarterbacking. It's not,
Not that bad. He's doing pretty good.
He's not that bad, but that Bills defense is a bitch.
And I think the Bills quarterback is pretty good,
and
too.
I don't trust him either at times. I got to stay away from this game because this is the kind of game that anybody can win. That's why Vegas has it at 1.5.
It's practically a pick 'em.
Yeah, it's pick 'em pretty much. But this is one of those games that I don't like because I can make a case for either team.
All right, so let's move on to the Raiders and the Jaguars. Now the Raiders, this is their last game as the Oakland Raiders home game.
Right.
After that, I think they have 2 away games, and then they go to Las Vegas. So they're favored by 6.5. It's kind of odd. Are they that good? I mean, the
Raiders are frauds. We've been pointing
not
that
that
out.
good.
We've been pointing that out here on the show. I probably have my notes from about a week and a half ago from the show. where I pointed out everything that the Raiders were doing or not doing.
They almost lost to the Bengals, and that's when they were playing the other quarterback, not Dalton.
That's a divisional. It's a rivalry game. A little bit of a rivalry game.
You know what? I would probably, straight up, I would pick the Raiders just because of the way they played Monday night against Denver. The Raider crowd will inspire that team and those guys, the way they played. Every time there's been that emotional attachment, Raider.
But given 6.5 points is a tough one.
That's my problem.
That's the thing.
I'm actually in the other way.
If it was around a field goal, it would be. But
you like the Jags.
I love the Jags in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you love the Jags more than you love the Patriots in their game against the Bengals?
No.
Okay, all right, okay.
No. But I do take the Jags here because it's 6.5 points, and I think that they'll turn over the Raiders.
All right.
And the Raiders do have a tendency of coming up short here, so I am going to go Jags. And
What's
take
the
situation on Chark in this game? I didn't get to hear
He's
that.
playing.
He is playing, and he's good to go with the ankle.
All right, so the next game is it would be my other pick if I wasn't going with the Homer Eagles. When I say Homer, my son grew up in the Philadelphia area. We grew up in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area. That's why I said Homer. All right, so it's the Browns over the Cardinals. It's in Arizona, but Arizona is like they've been striking out, losing some close ones. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a decent game. I think he's going to go on the road and win a road game. He's only given up 2.5 points. I don't think it's the end of the world. What do you think?
So it's an interesting one because the Cards have made things sometimes close and they've fought. This is one of those games that I don't trust either team yet. I can't touch this game because I certainly don't trust the Browns.
The only reason I like it, I don't think the Cardinals' home field really matters. There's certain home field advantages that matter.
I agree.
Green Bay.
I agree.
Maybe Pittsburgh, maybe New England. But
they're one of those teams that a lot of places the people will travel to go to Arizona and get in the weather.
Yeah, and I think I think there'll be Browns fans there. I think the Browns. I think the team's going to come out and play a decent game. But if I had to pick another game, it would be the Browns on that. But anyhow, the next game is even. It's amazing that we're even saying this. The 49ers. Now the 49ers are home, and they got
really
local.
Good.
They got the local kid from Fort Lauderdale, Nicky Bosa, who's having a great rookie of the year kind of year.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Unbelievable stud. And so. So now you have the 49ers over the Falcons. I cannot believe that the Falcons are a 10.5 point underdog.
Yeah, they're really bad.
So let's just digress for just a second here. Do you think Black Monday, the coach goes?
He should, but I don't know if they will fire him. That I don't know. I would fire him.
Yeah, I mean he's had some talent. You got Julio Jones.
Dan Quinn's had enough opportunities there, and there's too much of a good year and then a bad year, and a good year and a bad year. There's no consistency.
They had a lot of
Dan Quinn.
They had a lot of bad games, but they had one or two good games too.
No consistency.
The Falcons had like a 3-game run, but then the next week we're expecting them to blow. I think it was the Panthers out.
Yeah,
and the Panthers waxed them.
Yeah,
I can't trust that team.
So I guess you like the Niners with 10.5. Are you willing to give up 10.5?
No, I'm not touching that game. I'm not touching that game because you got Matt Ryan in the game, and you can still score some points and all
get
that.
some garbage touchdowns too.
Yeah, I think the Niners.
Julio Jones on a slant for 70 yards.
I think the Niners will win, and the defense definitely could maul Atlanta, but I'm just kind of weary because it's 10.5 points, and I can see where the Falcons play good enough that they sneak in and lose by 9, late in the game or something.
Yeah, because of some
backdoor
touchdown
cover or something, and then you're so pissed off.
Next game is this is the NFC East. Well, I guess one of the teams at least is NFC East. Rams at the Cowboys. Now, I think the Cowboys' home field advantage matters a little. I think that stadium matters a little. It's a hell of a stadium. It's
I get that. It's the team that I don't think really.
The team's horrible. The team is not horrible. They're disappointing.
And that's what would carry your home field. That they would respect that and they would, they would protect it. I don't think that the Cowboys are a team that will let you down and break your heart on a consistent basis. But then again, the Rams I don't trust either. So
I
think the Rams have played well the last 2 weeks. They've looked good. They've been on national TV, I think, both games. I like the Rams here.
Yeah, I like the Rams over the Cowboys because I think
that would be the pick.
Look,
I
the
would
coaching
make
has
out
an
of the
edge.
two.
Coaching has an edge, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's for
Yes.
sure. I think in quarterback, I think you might even give the Rams a quarterback edge. I mean, so they've got I think in running back, they're even. Running back, they're even. That's a. So let's pass it on because too close to make any money on that game.
Right.
And then, of course, this game cracks me up here. The Vikings are playing the Chargers in L.A., and they're giving up 2.5 points. So
Love the Vikings here.
I think the Vikings are going to run away with it.
Chargers are inconsistent. Phillip Rivers turns over the ball way too much. He's lost his fastball. He needs to retire. Vikings will dominate this game, and they will easily win it and cover the 2.5 points. Love it.
So
this is probably my favorite game out
I
of the
think
four.
Minnesota wins by 7 or 10.
Wait. Do you like the Vikings better than you like the Patriots?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Are we having a late change here?
No, I'm not. It's just the Patriots are the first game I picked.
But I
circle 4 games now. That's all I'm doing right now.
But we're going to pick.
Okay.
We're going to pick a 3-game parlay.
Okay.
Pay 6.5 to 1, right?
Okay.
We're going to see if 3 fairly NFL knowledgeable guys can put together a winning parlay ticket. Now, next week I want to make it a little tougher. Well,
I got 3. All right, go ahead. Last one is Saints by 9.5 against the Colts. And you know what? I like the Saints in this one.
Yeah, I like the Saints too.
Yeah, the Colts are banged up. T.Y. Hilton's banged up.
Plus, coming off that loss to the 49ers at home, they're going to be...
Jacoby Brissett is a jag. And the Saints are home, even though their home field hasn't necessarily been the same the last 2 years as they used to be, because they used to be super dominant. But still, I can see them easily winning by 10 points. I like the Saints.
So here's the play, and here's why I wanted to talk about this, because we need sports betting in Florida.
Of course.
Unfortunately, the politicians in Tallahassee are sort of living in 1972, and they haven't really moved forward on it. I think they're going to in the next couple of years, and it would be exciting and fun to do stuff like that. Here's the play, I think. You play a parlay ticket. We pick 3 teams. We win the parlay ticket. We take those winnings, and we bet on the Saints, and now you have a double win. That's the play. Okay. That's the play that we're picking. So now the pressure's on us. Which I think if I were to wrap it up, it looks like I got the Eagles over the Redskins. That's a tough pick. It's I know it's in Washington. You got the Patriots over the Bengals. Once again, an away team.
I can only get 1.
You can only get 1.
Vikings.
Oh, a late change. Big O late change. Yeah. So now we're on the Vikings.
Yeah.
But
Vikings.
Still, okay, Vikings over the Chargers. Still another away team we're picking. Mm-hmm. 2 away teams. And then Billy, once again, he's picking the Dolphins. We're picking.
No, he hasn't picked it yet. He just,
what do you think?
just talked about games like me that he liked. So which one are you picking?
Of the games, because obviously the Minnesota, I would say the Dolphins getting 3.5.
All right, so he is going with the Dolphins.
All right, so I love that. I love that parlay board. It's a little risky business. We're picking 3 games, no home teams, and they're all really, really small point spreads. I think we got a shot at winning, though.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's it. Next week we come back here at 3:00 on Friday, and we'll see how smart we really are. But next week I think we should try this. We'll go through the whole list. We'll argue it out, and we'll pick every game, and see how many games in a week we can pick.
Okay,
not easy, because there's on this sports book here. If you pick 15 out of 15, you can win 100,000. So listen, guys, maybe we get better at this. Instead of winning 6.5 to 1 odds, maybe we pick the 15 out of 15 and win 100,000.
All right.
This is why
I like the way you think.
This is why we should have sports betting in Florida.
It'll get here. It just takes forever.
That's why I want to talk about it.
We'll be the 46th, 47th, 45th state, like everybody else will have it. And we'll finally wake up and, hey, guess what?
I think you're right on that.
And you can blame Central Florida and the Panhandle for all of it.
Yeah, anything north of Disney, well, Disney can blame for it too, in Central Florida, and anything north of there.
Anything getting with the times, it's Central and North Florida that holds us back.
Always.
But we got a shot. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
South Florida should really detach themselves from the
I'll
rest
put the
of the
wager in for us, boys. I'll put the wager in for us, and we'll see what, next week I'll either come with money or I'll come with a frown.
Okay. I like like it. I like it.
All right.
All right. What's the other promotion we got going on at Hialeah Park?
Well, New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, we're having a great party. You got to come out here. We're going to have a live band in the lobby. $20,000. It's actually $20,020 sweepstakes for that day. So we're giving away $20,000. I think it's going to be a really fun event. I think that every day between Christmas, the day after Christmas and New Year's Eve, it's just a great time. People are off. The casinos are crowded. We've got a lot of high-hand promotions here in the poker room. Every day, the day after Christmas and a couple other days after that, they have another good high-hand. So my recommendation is do your shopping now. Get through Christmas. On the 26th, come on down. From 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st. This is the place to be. And remember what I tell you all the time. You can look it up on the state website. The number one payout in slot machines is right here in little old Hialeah Park Casino. Number one in the state of Florida.
Love it.
That's super impressive.
Love it. Yeah. Amazing. And I was telling everybody also about how non-smoking too, so you can come out and enjoy yourself. And
you're not going to go home smelling like a nicotine stick or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, all the games will be on, so people will be able to watch the games tonight. They can be here watching the Lakers and the Heat. Man, we got a great game tonight.
Nice game.
By incredible the way, food, man.
And great food. But
here
I want to talk about. We do have a smoking slot area for those smokers.
I told them the smoking hot slots.
We like, but our casino inside is non-smoking, but. It's all good. I hope you come out here, and I hope we see if we can start something with a little winning.
Yeah.
You like my win the parlay, and then put it all on the Saints. Doubles our victory. Doubles our winnings.
I'm with that.
Not our victory, our winnings.
I like the Saints, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's how you make money.
Yeah.
You got to double down.
Are my favorite pick out of all of them now. Out of all the ones that we saw, Vikings are my favorite pick. I really like the Vikings in this game. Because the Chargers are just.
Phillip Rivers is averaging 3 interceptions a game.
Yeah, dude, he's just giving it away left and right.
He's lost a lot.
But how about Billy's game? The Giants and the Dolphins.
I like the Dolphins, man.
Remember, I grew up a Giants fan, and
better coach, Miami.
Yes.
And right now, playing as a better team, the Dolphins.
I think Fitzpatrick can have a little, have his way with that defense too.
Right.
That defense is really suspect in New York.
My main thing is I think the Dolphins will win straight up.
Yeah.
So to give me 3.5.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're not going to lose.
I think Miami wins the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a good bet.
I think Miami wins on Sunday, and then they beat Cincinnati, and then lose to New England.
Yeah.
That's what I think ends up happening.
But think about this, how bad the New York NFL teams are this year. Now, we know the Jets are bad because they have Adam Gase. And Adam Gase, someday somebody's going to wake up and say he shouldn't be in the NFL. But I've been saying that for a long time. And
the problem is the
Johnsons
put themselves, and especially the Johnsons here now, put himself in a corner because he had so much high praise for Gase that he can't fire him now because it's like, well, a year ago you said he was the most innovative coach. And
almost give him 3 years.
Right.
Got to give him like a 3-year deal.
Yeah, so he has to stick by him to prove to people, no, you guys are wrong. He will prove you wrong and all that stuff. And so now they've got to just suck it up and wait.
But, I have a contrarian thought. I literally had this thought recently. I used to say, Gase is horrible. He shouldn't be coaching the NFL. The heck with him. Then I woke up and I said, wait a second. I want him to be coaching. He's in our division.
Right.
That at least eliminates.
So I tell Dolphins, I hope he's there for 30 years.
Beat the Jets now.
O is all about him being there for 20 years.
Yeah, let the Johnsons keep him there forever, And
I hope they're stupid enough to think that he's the answer, bro. Let them keep him there, dude.
It helps us. At least we got a shot at the, we just got to worry about maybe sooner or later the New England dynasty is going to go away. I mean, you can already see. I like Brady. I like him a lot, but you can see. He's showing a little signs of age.
Well, supposedly it's ending this year.
I thought he was going to play next year.
Well, he is, but not there.
Oh,
that's what a lot of people. Well,
that's a tough one to watch.
He just stepped down.
That's a tough one to believe.
He just stepped down from being president of the Big Buddies in Boston. He's going to do Big Buddies nationally now, and he's got his house for sale. He
does have his house for sale.
His trainer's got his house for sale. His contract is set to expire at the end of the year. He's an outright free agent at the end of the year.
It appears that there's a little something between him and Belichick.
Well, there always seems to be a little.
Every sign points for him to leave.
So that's good. So then New England will be in that rebuilding mode. But as long as Belichick's there, it's always trouble. You know, Belichick is the quintessential opposite of Adam Gase. You know,
Right.
But from a division standpoint, I feel good that Gase is at the Jets because we can beat them, and we've already proven that. The Buffalo it depends what Buffalo shows up for the game, whether they're home or away. New England has been a thorn in our side.
If you think Josh Allen's going to turn into an elite quarterback, then Buffalo will be a problem. If you don't, like I do, then
you don't think he's going to turn into elite? I think he's pretty good. He's got the size. He's got an arm.
Size, arm, and great athlete. Still don't think he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, I worry about him. I worry about the future of the Bills more so than some other teams.
Yeah, I just think everything else is pretty good about the Bills. But if they don't, I don't think he turns into that guy. And if he doesn't, then I don't really fear the Bills long term. Right now, yeah, they're better than Miami because Miami doesn't have their defense or running game, so I get it.
So one final note, just for my boys in Philly. You know, I got my son there. I got a good friend Dominic. He's the unbelievable. All these guys. It's the whole Italian American club up there in Philadelphia. What do you think about Wentz?
That's my guy. I love Wentz when he was coming out of school. I think the injuries have taken some kind of a confidence away from him.
Has it been the injuries or maybe signing the big check?
No, I think it's the injuries. I think because he's such a religious dude and all of that. And to him, life is, which it's normal for all of us to think that life is important. But football is important to them. I don't think that that's his priority in life.
Really?
I think humanity is his priority.
Staying alive.
Yeah.
Not getting hit by a defensive end.
And just caring about other people and all, because he's a great guy.
He's a very nice.
He's a phenomenal human being, and I think he's that guy that. He doesn't burn football on both ends. I don't believe that he lives, eats, and breathes football. I think he has the talent. He knows that he can play the game, but I don't think that he is the guy that is going to completely sell out for the game. And so, because of that, he has a little of Andrew Luck in him.
Yeah. There's the Andrew Luck syndrome.
Where
Good
you
guy,
can step
smart.
back for a moment and say, I can do more than this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that's where I fear with Wentz that I think that takes away from your edge. And then that stops you from being who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Wentz has kind of lost a little bit of that because he's been humbled by how brutal this game is and how many injuries he has suffered because he didn't go through that in North Dakota. You know what I mean? It was just one of those where he was able to play the game, play it at a high level, dominate over everybody, and have fun. He's learning that the NFL isn't all about fun.
Yeah,
it's a brutally tough game that is demanding at every level, and there's no days off. And if you're the quarterback, oh my Lord, your responsibilities are tenfold compared to everybody else. And I think that he's a guy that has other priorities in life that may be more important to him than football. I'm not saying, look, coaches, I'm not saying they don't care about their families, but they're fine being in the freaking building for 20 hours out of the 24 and not see their kids.
Peterson's one of them. During the season, at least.
Right. I most of those guys are wired that way. I don't know if he's wired that way.
Well, so I can tell you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I definitely understand it, but it's an interesting dichotomy because the average Eagle fan is wired, lives and dies by the Eagles, and like I said, I got a bunch of friends, bunch of family up there. My boy Carmen Trifoletti, Dominic, Mariano, Steve Cal. These guys are all, they're nuts about it, right? And the Eagle, the sports radio in Philadelphia,
I know,
they're worse.
Yeah.
They get their fans all riled up. They want to kill quarterbacks. So it's an interesting thing. It's
now we are pulling for Philly to supplant Dallas. I would love to see them take the division. Anybody but Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody
America's
but Dallas.
Team,
And right now,
I'm so tired of
Dallas
that.
has the inside track right now.
Let's root for whoever wins so they can get embarrassed in the playoffs. Because
I was a
really
little.
matter.
Hey, I was a little. The Dolphin win against Philly was kind of like.
I disagree
God,
with
if they
you,
would have
Larry.
won, they would have jumped in front front of Dallas.
I disagree with you.
Why?
I want Dallas to win so they can have another embarrassment in the
the
playoffs.
No.
Yeah.
I want the
Because if they don't make the playoffs, it's like, well, it's Dallas. They normally choke.
I don't want to
If
give
they
Jerry.
go to the playoffs, they'll get they'll pump
I don't
their
want to
chest
give
out.
Jerry another week
Jerry,
of talking.
No, but it'll be great because
no,
it'll
no,
be Jerry talking
You're
with
not,
egg
you're
on his
not.
face.
No, but
watching Philly lose in the first round is nothing. It's like, yeah, they won the Super Bowl. Who cares? They're fine.
Peterson will make the game interesting.
he
Jason
won't.
Garrett will make the game boring, even in a loss to the, in the
The
playoffs.
drama is never. Train wrecks are never boring, and the Cowboys are a train
So
wreck.
you're a fan of Jerry Jones, I can see.
No, I'm not a fan of Jerry Jones. I just love
kidding.
seeing him go through, hell, which is great. Because those idiots will make the playoffs and then talk about winning a Super Bowl when they can't beat a good team, and that's what I love.
When they're
And
500.
and then they'll lose the playoff game by 35. And then they'll be all pissed off, and Jerry will be calling Garrett out.
Firing people.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
awesome. I love it, man.
No, and I'm rooting for
I love
rooting
it.
for the Eagles.
Plus, it forces them even down on the draft, so it's a lesser pick for them. There's lots of positives to it.
I got a question for you.
It's not like the Eagles are going anywhere anyway.
Whatever.
They're extending their season for one game to get embarrassed.
1 week,
This
one more
gives them a week ahead of time to get into the offseason.
Whatever is Dallas's last game, how long does Jason Garrett get fired? How long does it take?
Black Monday.
It's
Black
the
Monday.
Black Monday. It's going to be Black Monday. So for me, though, I want the Eagles. I forgot, I mentioned
If
all
they
my
make
friends.
the playoffs and they get knocked out.
Although Jerry might do it on that Sunday night, just so it's a headline,
gets the first
and
headline.
it's not part
He
of
gets the first
all the
headline,
other
yep.
headlines with all the other coaches getting fired.
I'm going for the
Because
Eagles.
on Monday it's it's one coach getting fired after another. Every half hour there's a new coach. So instead of being part of that whole thing, the
Jerry
second
wants his own platform.
the second the game is done, he fires Garrett.
And guys, I have to apologize in advance because I'm 1/3 of that parlay sheet, but I'm going all emotion. My father-in-law, he just passed away a couple weeks ago. Big Eagle fan. He used to wear the Eagle jacket, and the Eagle hat, the whole 9 yards, and my son, my buddies up there. So I got that whole crew of people. So I'm kind of rooting for them because I really can't root for the Dolphins or the Giants because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
It doesn't really matter. So I'm rooting for them guys.
Okay, well, I mean, all they're doing is getting a week of frustrations that they're going to add because they're going to get to the playoffs and then lose, and they're
What
like,
would they play? They would play the number one seed, probably. They play the number one seed, which would be San Francisco.
really?
And then Nick Bosa would have
Really?
his way with Carson Wentz.
Really? You know what I mean?
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. That defense is going to
And they'd have
maul
to go
them.
to, and they'd have to go to cross country.
yes,
They'd have to fly
Yeah,
3,000
you're
miles.
extending the season for a week
punishment.
for no reason at all,
I wanna
for
extend
embarrassment, really. When you can maybe win the last game of the season, not win the division, and at least you ended on a positive going into the offseason. You go to the playoffs, it's like, well, we made the playoffs because our division was so bad, and then we showed why the division was so bad because we got thoroughly embarrassed. You know what I mean? So it's blind ass fans just wanting to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
Basically,
That's true.
our term of endearment for the fan that is out of touch, which is the blind ass fan.
Well, look, the Eagle fans are out of touch. Their problem is they're too in touch with it. These guys are nuts. These guys
Yeah.
are.
No, I know.
Guys
They're
and girls, they're all nuts.
No, I know. They're completely insane in that place. There's no
Anyhow,
doubt about it.
Go Birds.
All right, my brother. Appreciate it as always.
Nice seeing you again. We'll be back next Friday.
You'll be back next
Wanna
Friday
see
with a
if
check.
My Birds won, or not really my Birds, but birds that I'm rooting for.
You'll
We're
be-
going to double our money, right?
Right, that's
We're
right.
gonna
we
So
might have
win,
to double
we're
money.
going to win this.
I
and
will
then
see you
the
next
text
Friday
messages.
with a check.
I will text message you Sunday night.
Okay.
All righty.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
Steve.
care, boys.
Hey, Steve.
Thank
All right,
you.
baby. Be good. Steve Calabro, baby. Yes, getting it done out here at Hialeah Park. Come on out here, man. Come on out here throughout the weekend. And go to the Champion Simulcast Center. You can bet on all the tracks, wager on all those tracks all across the country. That's right. It's a beautiful thing. You can always do it. So when the Breeders' Cup rolls around, Kentucky Derby rolls around, the Belmont, come here. Champion Simulcast Center. Yeah, man. You got a buddy that lives up there, up north. Hey, I'm going to Saratoga. All right, no problem. You know what? I won't go to Saratoga, but I'll go to Hialeah and bet on Saratoga. See, that's the beauty. Hey, I'm going out to Del Mar. Well, it's all right. You don't have to go out west. You could just come here to the Champions Simulcast Center and bet on Del Mar. There you go. That's what it's all about, baby. You don't have to leave. Just come right here to Hialeah Park, and you can get it all done. And eat some food, too, bro, because the food is outstanding.